They say the kitchen is the heart of the home, and in a van conversion, it's probably not much different. Kitchen's always a bit of a juggle because you want a lot of counter space, but in a van, you just don't have a lot of space. So this video is going to showcase some innovative kitchen systems that I've come across in the last 2 years. I'm going to start off with the kitchen I've installed in my latest van because it's enormous and it's got a clever feature. So this is the kitchen. In the kitchen, we have a large worktop. We have a sink and burner combo unit from Dometic. We have a tap, which is running off a different pump to the shower, but we'll talk about that in the water system. And here on the side, we have a food waste. This means that when we're cooking, we can just put our food waste here and dry waste somewhere else for recycling. And then when this little thing's full, we can empty in a bush or bury in a hole or put it into proper disposal. Within the kitchen, we've got a bunch of storage. I've got one large storage drawer, which pulls out. This gives us a lot of space to store dried food goods, rice, pasta, or whatever else we want to store for cooking. To the left, we have slightly shorter drawers because behind here, I've got a water tank. And these drawers, essentially, we've got cutlery, knives, forks. In the second one, we've got plates and cups and bowls. In the third one, we've got bowls, plates, and in the bottom one, we've got frying pan, saucepan, and strainer. So the way I've designed these drawers, I've got a central rib between them out of the same hardwood, and it just means that there's always this place very easily to basically clip your drawers in and stop them moving around when you're driving. In this corner, I have a panel which I can remove. That's really just, the reason it's a panel is just because I'm just trying to keep the space as small as possible. And inside here, we have a wastewater tank. Now, I won't use this wastewater tank all the time because coming out of my sink, I've got a flexible hose and I've got it going, currently it's going into a pipe which goes straight out through the bottom of the van. That means if you're somewhere where it doesn't matter if you're, washing up water, or especially if you're using organic soap, just drains out into the land. But if I am somewhere it matters, I can just take that flexible pipe and I can put it in this tank, and I've got 20 litres of waste storage and I can empty it somewhere appropriate. Above the kitchen unit, we've got a simple shelf. It's got some nice lights underneath it, and it's just a place to store glasses, soap, washing up liquid, things like that. In this little wall place, I realised there's space for a nice spice rack. So we have a spice rack. Haven't got any spices in it yet, but it will look nice when they're all in line. And it's quite snug, so they didn't rattle around too much. Under the seat, we've got a fridge. Now the fridge, it's got a big click, comes out. It's a Dometic compressor fridge. And what I've done is, because of the space is so limited and I'm trying to get as much seating area as possible here, I've got a little flap in the seat. So the seat flaps up and now we can access the fridge completely. I've made the runner so it just stops shy of hitting this unit, so we're not damaging the unit with the front of the fridge. So as you can see, we have enormous kitchen area. It's really gonna be amazing to use this when we're cooking, but at the same time, this is the smart part probably of the whole van. And that is the kitchen unit folds upwards and turns ourselves into a shower. I'm Nate Murphy, author of the Van Conversion Guide, and I just want to let you know that I'm hosting a free online training which will teach you how to make van life zero cost or profitable. In this free seminar, I will show you exactly how to choose a van, build it out in a profitable way, and avoid the mistakes that most people make. I will show you how I made van life completely free and a bunch of other stuff that people don't really talk about. If you want to join, click the link here or in the description and register for free. I'll see you there.
So I'll start here just because this is one of my favorite parts of the van. I was looking for a heat source, especially since we spend a lot of time skiing up in cold areas. In the beginning, I didn't have the diesel or anything in mind. We kind of just used a 0-degree sleeping bag, and we would just kind of like bundle up in that at night. But really, it was just like kind of hanging out in the main area that we wanted to make more comfortable. So found this product from Canada as a cubic mini wood stove, and it actually takes real wood and is fed by these little 5x5 inch pieces of wood in here. It was actually built as one of the last pieces of the van build, which made it a little bit more difficult. So I kind of built the stand that you can see here, but then had to go through and cut a hole through the ceiling and then cut a hole through the roof to kind of vent this out. But it's nice that it's in this insulated pipe, everything like that. So really all I had to worry about was, you know, having the heat kind of bounce off of that. So that's where I got the idea to use real brick, which a lot of people are kind of surprised by. But it's a 1/4 inch real brick that I kind of just like brick and mortared like right here on the wall with just like some thin set to make it a little bit lighter. So yeah, set it with some thin set, and honestly it was pretty easy to install. And this we kind of just use for like more of an ambiance sort of thing. We'll open up the sliding door and you can be like in bed with it snowing outside with a fire going, which is a really awesome thing. We can't feed the stove all night to kind of keep ourselves warm. So what I ended up doing was installing the diesel heater, and it comes out right through here. And I'm able to turn this, so if we have some ski clothes and stuff like that, I'll throw it on the floor here. We'll just kind of turn it and turn it on so that we could get the ski clothes heated, and then you can kind of turn it up this way to kind of point it towards the bed and heat the entire cabin. So on the driver's side wall we have like the entire kitchen. Super important to me because I love cooking on the road, especially like really big meals. So it was important for me to kind of upgrade. I used to have a 2-burner stove, switched over to a 3. Lots of cook space. We're able to just kind of like put this here. It's got a magnetic closure here. Keep this up, especially when we're not on level ground or anything. Gives you 3 burners here, and then gives us an oven as well, which we've actually used a bit. I like cookies, so you know, love cooking that in there. For the tile, I kind of saved some weight by doing peel and stick, which actually has worked great. It's super easy to clean, was super easy to install. Got some extra if you ever need to, like, you know, do any fixins or anything like that. We got a magnetic knife block, which actually has held up really well. I've driven on a ton of like super 4x4 roads and nothing's ever fallen down, which has been awesome. Same with the spice rack, holds everything kind of like where I need it. Nothing's ever popped off or anything like that. Moving on over here, we have pretty much everything else, all collapsible dishes, bowls, plates, everything like that. All right, so for the overhead cabinets, I kind of did like custom measuring for this, so I didn't want them to be you know, too deep where I couldn't cook over my cooktop and everything, so I kind of made them like pretty shallow. I used this cargo netting so that nothing kind of falls out of it, but it holds like everything that we could possibly need up here. The material on the outside is actually reclaimed barnwood in like super thin 1/4 inch pieces that I got from Home Depot, and I was able to kind of like custom cut them in different shapes and sizes to make this like jigsaw pattern, just like the way it looked. For the countertop, one of the biggest things when I first started building was that I wanted live edge. I went to a local Denver supplier where I got this live edge slab that I was able to cut into several different pieces. One of the pieces I used right here, super intent on keeping the bark on, so I actually epoxy resined the bark to the slab of wood before sanding it and everything and finishing it. But I was able to kind of get this like block countertop, and then the other half, which I'll show you in a little bit, is going to be the table, and then I was able to use another piece of it for like an extended counter without taking away from seating space. So I just got some extendable shelving kind of bookends right there to make this a larger counter when I'm cooking, and then when I'm not cooking, kind of just comes down like this, and you're still able to sit here and eat at this table.
We're gonna get started up here in the front in the galley area. We've got the sink galley on my right here in front of the slider door. The faucet is set up so that you can swing it to the outside if you want to utilize water out there. The faucet's tied into a 20-gallon freshwater system with a 7-gallon gray water tank underneath the sink here. Our countertops that we decided to use in here are stainless steel, requested by the customer. In doing that, we found that we had a little bit of a design challenge where we wanted to figure out how to integrate the sink into the countertop. So we had these custom made just for this client of ours. On the front of the galley right here, we've got our 100-liter NovaCool refrigerator. We have it set up so that you can also access that from outside of the van. It's really nice when you have the awning out and you're hanging outside and you just want to reach in for a drink out of the fridge. Over on my left here, we have a slide-out drawer with a chemical toilet down underneath. Super easy to access, locking drawers. The other drawer above it is dry storage. Big drawer, plenty of space to keep things. A little bit more work surface over here as well.
So the inspiration behind all the design within the interior of this van was lots of boho chic, lots of rattan, lots of gold. Still definitely something that I love even today. So now I'm going to get in and show you the kitchen. So as you walk into the entrance of our van, the first thing that we have here is a little box which keeps kind of cleaning products, some shoes if we want them. We ended up keeping our slippers in here quite a lot when we were on the road. And then we have these gold handles here which hold some empty bags so we can store our tea towels and any kind of other amenities we need on a day-to-day basis. That brings us into our kitchen. We decided to go for quite a large kitchen in our van, an L shape. We love to cook and having lots of space here was really important to us. So the worktop of our van, we really originally wanted it to be like a wood effect. Unfortunately we couldn't get one of those with the weight that we were working with, so we ended up going for this marble which is from IKEA but actually looks really great and is super light, so we lucked out there. That brings us on to our sink. We decided to go for quite a large sink in this area, and again with our colour scheme we did go for gold, quite bougie but we're really pleased with it, and also a statement tap in the gold as well. We have a full hob from Thetford. We only have 2 hobs but we find that's pretty all we really need with it being 2 of us. We also have an oven which is pretty not always usual in a van. Again, this is from Thetford as well, and we find we actually do use it quite regularly. Means we can also have toast in the morning, which I love to have, so that's really great. We also have this super cute grill here, also in gold, which was just icing on top of all the cakes. Our splashback here are real tiles, so it was really important for us that we had something here that wouldn't melt, because we do have a live flame here, so we couldn't have had anything fake here or anything like that. So yeah, these are real tiles, and we have a gold trim to these as well, of course. We also did a splashback on this side purely because if we were sitting here or in the bedroom area, we just wanted something to finish off the kitchen area and also make sure that we didn't have any splashes onto anything when we were cooking. This area in the van, which is obviously a blind as you can see right now, but it is also a hole that leads us through to the cabin. Now some people might think why did we keep this hole if we were to cover up everything else? Well, it's more for safety, so if there's anything going on outside or if we feel like we're in an unsafe situation, we can simply jump through here and we can drive off. Because of our locking system, if we lock the keys in the van and the door's locked automatically, it means that we could get in via the cabin and we wouldn't be locked out. This area also becomes our dressing room area, so we have a mirror on the wall here. Super important for us to have a decent sized mirror in the van. This was actually one of the only ones we could find to fit in this area, and we have got it stuck to our wall so it's not banging against the van as we drive. We have a small hanging basket here which we keep things that we need every day. We've got our water here, we've got coasters here should we need them, and it usually ends up holding other little bits and bobs which you don't even think about until you live in a van. That brings me onto our hanging units, which we're really proud of. We did rattan across these ourselves, and we have our gold handles here as well. They open upwards like so. So we built these ourselves, and they have like special self-closing hinges on here, so it holds it up and also gives a little bit of resistance when you push it down as well. So this usually houses our underwear and any more essentials that we might need when we're on the road. Obviously there's nothing in here now because we're not actually traveling in the van. And then our second one holds our food. As you can see, some of that is still in here, so any sort of food that we're taking, cereal, stuff like that, all lives in here. So this brings us on to a huge feature in our van, which is our fridge. So it is a 12 volt fridge, and the brand is Technics, and we bought it from Inlander. It might not look like a 12 volt fridge, but it is, I assure you, and we obviously took inspiration from the Smeg fridges. It is very large, but that was important for us to ensure that we could hold all of our food. We've got different sections in here for obviously our milks, sauces, condiments, vegetables in here, more bits in here, any bottles of wine or beer we might have, and it also has a freezer up the top here, so that's quite a large area that we can store stuff in as well. You will notice we've also got a lock on here, which we just got from Amazon. This is to ensure that our door doesn't open and close when we're driving, so it just clips on like this, or you open it as so. Now I'm going to get on to talk about our cupboards. So the kitchen itself was built by us, and our doors here and here were bought off a shelf from IKEA, but all the rest of the doors were made by us as well. So this one here is a pop-off door, like so. And in here we store our thermal blinds, which again we made ourselves. Very important when keeping yourself warm in a van at night. We also have continued our gold theme through our handles here, and they have a marble bit in the middle which goes with our worktop, very important. So our cupboard under the sink holds any cleaning products. It's quite a large space, it goes all the way around the corner there. So we've got a lot of storage space here. We usually keep our towels here, any stuff we need for the kitchen, cleaning products, etc. all lives under here. Also really good to note, we have these butterfly kind of clips here that keep all of our doors secure when we are driving, and you just push them in like this. Our next cupboard holds all of our cutlery, which I'll show you, which comes out like so. We have another small drawer here which just holds our scissors and any kind of essential items in there. We have our plates, our cups, our glasses, and some wine glasses at the back there. These all stay very secure by having these rubber matting between them, which means they don't slide around. Also have at the back here, which aren't hanging up right now because we're not living in the van, but all of these kitchen utensils hang up here above the stove. A really cool feature, which everyone seems to love, is our condiments drawer, very clever. And then under here we have our colander, some Tupperware, just bits and bobs. Final cupboard, which lives under here, is where we keep all of our pots and pans, everything that we need to cook, and also our chopping board and an oven tray as well. The last things in the kitchen are our towel holder or kitchen roll holder here, and then our soap holders here and here, which also stay very secure when we are driving.
So our tap only has cold water, so if we want hot water in here, we just boil this kettle. The water supply is underneath the van, so we have a 120 litre freshwater tank, which is at the back of the van, which I'll show you in a minute. And then directly below this sink underneath the van, we have a 25 litre grey water tank. So you're only emptying it twice a week, and it's got a little tap on it, so it's really easy to empty. Just a few things to add about the oven. So the oven runs solely on gas. Obviously it's wired up so that there's an ignition. Something that's really important about all of the gas points on our van is that directly below this there is a tube that runs out the bottom of the van. So if there was any gas to be leaking anywhere, any gas stays low because it's LPG and filters out of the bottom. We have this cool little mechanism that we built. There's this tin-foiled piece of ply basically, and that stops any heat rising from the oven when it's on from ruining any of the electrical wires that are connected to the hob on the top. And then we built this frame with the ventilation built in to let any heat out, and then this whole thing just pops back together. There we are. So that's a little bit of safety, just about the oven, and a bit of info about how our water supply works.
This is our full pantry cupboard. It uses 4 drawer runners to take all of the weight of all of our food in here. We have majority of our food in here. We've got a little bit in the cupboards, but it is mostly in here. And both of these handles were also made by Ed, which are made out of solid wood.
So in the kitchen area, we really tried to maximise worktop space. So this means that one of us can be cooking and the other one can be washing up or chopping up. So this is our sink. It is quite a small sink, takes up a small amount of space, but it is deep, which makes washing up nice and easy. We have this tap which pulls out so it can go outside and be used as an outdoor shower as well, with a nice spray function. The sink and the shower both drain to under the van to 2 plastic water tanks. These are repurposed water tanks that we got off Amazon for £20. They're connected together so they fill up together and can just be drained from one single point. So in this cupboard in the kitchen, we have our hot water system and our diesel heater right at the back, and then all of our recycling and rubbish in here. In this cupboard we have more just general food storage, and then we have all of our drawers with all of our cutlery, plates and everything like that. These are all handmade drawers and cupboard doors with the shaker style effect on them. So for all of our drawers and cupboards, we've used these child-proof safety locks that they just push across and securely lock the door, and then you use this little magnet to release them, and then you can click them across and use them as normal drawers when you're parked up. These work great. We haven't had any fail. As long as they're put on correctly, they work great. So throughout the kitchen we've used these heat-proof stick-on tiles which seem to work really well for us. Up here we have a bookshelf that are handmade using some live edge ash wood. Light to read, so we've got a lot of books. And then we've got some more storage here just for our teas and coffees and flowers and things.
So this is our other kitchen unit, which is right next to the door. This has our 2-ring gas hob on the top, which is run by LPG. We have the LPG tank underneath the van that we fill up from the outside. We cook everything on here. We find that 2 rings is absolutely perfect for us, and we also have an Omnia oven which we can cook lasagnas and cakes and stuff like that. We have another drawer underneath here, and this is for all of our pans and anything else that you would need while you were cooking. And at the bottom of the cabinet we also have our 55 litre Dometic fridge, which fits in a ton of food for around about 2 weeks, and that is run off 12 volt. And we find that doesn't use up much power at all really, even when it's hot weather and it needs to keep itself cooler for longer.
In this kitchen area, we do have a nice big countertop extension. On the side of the countertop extension, accessible from outside, we do have a bottle opener as well. And then the countertop houses their single burner induction cooktop, a big 15 by 20 stainless steel sink with faucet. We do have a countertop outlet that flips up here. And then we went with the stainless steel backsplash. We did customize this backsplash by sandblasting in the Notre Dame logo. This kitchen is fully equipped with a 4.3 cubic foot refrigerator freezer. And then we also have wine storage for up to 24 bottles. We do also have this is a very unique kitchen galley design with these pull out drawers inside of this cabinet, and they did add a lot of personal touches. We have their paper towel holder here, and then we are also adding a knife magnet to this area.
I'd say that this was probably one of the hardest things to build because it was we had an issue with space, and we definitely needed an oven, and we had to have a decent water storage in here. So it's about 500 millimeters wide. It's based on a caravan design. They call it a micro kitchen, and all of the framework in this whole van is about 20 mil by 20 mil thick antique pitch pine. It's very lightweight, it's very strong, and all in all, we're really happy with it. But we did have an issue with the fridge, so we couldn't have a full-size fridge, unfortunately, and we had to put these little lock handles on there because you know what it's like with vans, things fly out and stuff. But yeah, it's super lightweight. It does everything we needed to do. Yeah, we're really happy. This is the cooker. It's a Dometic. Originally, like with our budget, we were a little bit hesitant about buying things new because it does really escalate that budget. But with the whole lockdown things, we did do this van in lockdown. We were getting really scarce with materials, so this one we just had to buy brand new. But we're really happy with it, and it boils stuff really quickly. It's very micro. It literally just fits in millimeters on top of the oven. So that was something that we had to buy new, which is fine. A micro sink as well, which is out of a caravan. This was actually free. It does everything a sink does, but it's very small. But again, we got a little thing here that helps with the drainage. It's like a little drainage board, which is cool. There's the van facing the right way and the water drains tidy. So that's our washing up system right there. Well, one thing that we had to change there was the oven. From the original caravan that we had, the oven was fine, but when we looked at it online, people were saying that it was struggling to cook a bun. So I was on Facebook Marketplace one day, this came up, it was brand new in a box, someone had bought it, and they sold the van last minute, and the person who bought the van, they just didn't want an oven anymore, so we actually had this for about £150. I know they're just about over £300 new, so we put this in. It was a bit of a nightmare to get it in, to squeeze it in, but we're so glad we've got it. It's absolutely brilliant. I'd highly recommend these ovens. Very, very simple to use, but you just have to be careful with a bit of the heat that comes up from the top. So we've added this little vent in here, which makes a huge difference.
So our friends had a caravan on their land that they wanted to turn the chassis of it into a trailer. And at the time we were wondering what we should do with this van, like how should we do it, what's our budget? And we were really keen. We were like, well, how about if we help you dismantle the trailer in exchange for the parts from the caravan, you know, the toilet, the sink. So yeah, we've done really well out of that job. And it's so nice to be able to exchange our time helping them, and then we had in return some parts that we could use in our camper. We really do like to reuse things. So here's the fridge. It's a cool box. Because of the lack of space, we went for this option, and we're not full-time van lifers. We do like a couple of weeks in the van. So this actually works out fine. But I think if we were to ever go full-time in the van, I think we would try to get one of the bigger fridges, because this does struggle. So in the little kitchen area, we've got our utility drawer here. So we've got like all the little bits and pieces we need, like hand wash and things, the food waste bin, and just bits and pieces, Windowline, all the important things. And then we've got our cutlery and plates and things like that in there. And then under here is just access to the bottom of the envelope bin there. That's the little envelope bin. We've got like bottles there, and just it's got all the plumbing and things down there, but I normally keep the dog food down there. So then I've got some other pantry areas as well. So I've got my pots and pans in there. That's pretty handy. Actually, these doors, these are made from old Victorian pine. There was a pine door going for free on Facebook Marketplace. So I went to collect it, and it was beautiful. It did have a bit of woodworm and things, but we got rid of that bit. We ripped it down to these really thin slats, and we used that because I just love the honey colour that it comes up as. I really love that. So we've just got these little doorknob thingies, and it's really worked out well. We're really happy with that. So something that I really like is brass. So we bought a plain sheet, and I actually hammered it myself, and we cut it into shape as a splashboard, because I was fearing that it was going to affect my leather sofas.
So starting on the driver's side, I have the floor to ceiling unit, and I really wanted to do this in this build. One, because I really wanted the fridge off of the ground. My previous build, the fridge is underneath the cabinet, and like it can be hard to get to like everything way down on the bottom. So I lifted it up a little bit, and then put a drawer down here that has all my shoes and stuff in it, and also my dog's toys. And then this is an isotherm 135 liter, and it's double the size of my past fridge, and it's amazing. I can fit about a week and a half's worth of food if I try really hard. Right now it's not super stocked. This is probably one of my favorite parts of the van, is the amount of storage in this guy. I have like my pots and pans, my dishes and cups and whatnot, and then also there's an outlet back here, so then I can work this little tiny toaster oven if I need to like reheat anything. And also I put a mirror on the door, which is really great considering there's like never enough wall space to fit a regular mirror, and it's also made out of acrylic just in case it falls. So now for the kitchen, I went with like two relatively really big countertops. I wanted to be able to, like, if I bring in a bunch of groceries, throw them up on the counter, so then I can like work from the countertop to put stuff away, rather than like having to put everything on the floor or on the bed or whatever. And then also when I'm cooking, I have space for like my pots and my pans, and also space for like cutting boards. I have a induction stove, and this is something I'm really happy that I went with instead of propane. I didn't want to have to also fill up propane. Like, it's one less thing that I have to do on like a weekly checklist. So I went with an induction stove that's fully powered up my solar panels instead. And I'm really happy with that decision since I have such a big battery bank. And then up here I have all of my pantry storage, and honestly this van has so much more storage than I need. I designed this spice rack really intentionally to like have different heights, and it's amazing. Like, my top one is all my silverware and stuff, and then spices, and then I have space down on the bottom for like all of the really tall stuff that can be really hard to store that might tip, like oils and sauces and all of that. And it's contained here, and it's great. Also, these are the RV Labs latches. So if you have like really heavy stuff in here and you turn a sharp corner, everything's gonna like stay closed in there. I like to keep everything super organized. Like, these two are all of the like regular clothes that I own, and all folded. Super minimalist with like the stuff that I own and keeping it really organized. Except for my junk drawer. This is ugly. But if this drawer is closed, my van is super clean. This is my sink. I really like that it's on the door side, so if I am somewhere and I need to like shower outside or whatever, I can spin this around and like wash my dog, wash my feet, wash my cat, whatever. It runs off of this pump, and all of my water is underneath the sink. I have 2 7-gallon fresh tanks and then 1 3-gallon gray tank that it drains into. It's only cold water, which is great. Never had a need for hot water. If I need to boil water for anything, I can do that on the stove. Next to my sink in these 2 drawers is my toilet. Great having a toilet. My first van didn't have one, and you make do, but it definitely is something. Having a toilet makes it feel more like home and allows me to like be a little bit more off-grid and being able to be a little bit more self-sufficient. Like, I don't need to go to Starbucks in the morning to go number 2. So it's great. It's a Nature's Head composting toilet. Doesn't smell at all.
We have a fixed 240 volt fridge which runs purely off the solar panels, because we have 3 solar panels, 630 watt power with 240 watt amp hour batteries. That is permanently on. We've never had to plug this vehicle in to any other form of main supply. So we have a fridge, microwave, a two burner cooker. We then have a fixed in Belfasty sink with your hot and cold water. The hot water is supplied by a Truma water heating system, which is has a separate water tank. We have 2 water tanks on this vehicle. One is a 150 litre fresh water tank, and the other one is a 90 litre, which solely is purely for the hot water system. And yeah, so that's that. We also, both Kerry and I got married last year, and we were gifted money, so we decided to use that money to treat ourselves to a log burner. So we purchased this log burner, which we then fitted. Just bear with me 1 second. And it is an Apple, and it's absolutely wonderful.
So right above the countertop extension, we have the controls for the S-Bar air heater. The blower, it lives right under the passenger seat, so it blows hot air to the whole cab. The controls right next to that is the controls for the on-demand hot water for both the sink and the shower. So one thing that was important to us in all of our builds was not having to use propane. So for cooking, we have a double burner induction cooktop stove that you can plug in to the outlets, and it runs off the inverter. Then there's pots, pans, silverware. Moving on to this raised butcher block countertop, and underneath here you've got a 4.5 cubic foot freezer and fridge that can fit up to 2 weeks worth of groceries. So right behind the second row seating, we have our sink and butcher block cover for the sink. This is also a cutting board. And we have on-demand hot water from the hydro heater from S-Bar. And that also runs hot water to the shower. And it's a 20-gallon freshwater tank that lives under the storage bench seating. And then there's a gray water tank that is mounted on the exterior below the van. We didn't want a permanent fixed shower because you only use it every so often. Every square inch in a van is precious real estate. So we wanted countertop space during the day and then a shower whenever we needed one. Here's the shower. The cassette toilet lives in here as well, and that is movable, so you can move that out before you shower.
If you didn't notice, I am offering a free online training which will help teach you how to make van life free or profitable. In this video, I will show you exactly how to buy a van, how to fit it out in a profitable way, and teach you how to avoid the mistakes that most people make, and all the other stuff that almost nobody else talks about. If you are thinking about converting a van or living van life, it'll be one of the most valuable things you will ever watch. Just click the link, register for free, and I'll see you there. Another great place to start is to get the van conversion guide. It's packed with useful information and includes 20 video lessons to help you convert a van. Check our website, all the information is there.